Bridges, Aldcombe, Haywards Heath, Wibblesfield, Burgess Hill, Essex, Preston Park, and
Ninth
Brighton.
event.
Okay.
'Cause I think
That's
something came in the conversation about the marching band being out there.
Well, I don't know about a marching band, but that's in the works now. There are a couple of commissioners that are going to be looking into contacting the schools. One of them was, well, the one that was at the meeting, Miss Dickerson. She is a president of one of the school boards, and she will be assisting with that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes.
you. She was out there as well yesterday during the meeting, huh?
She was. She was out
Okay.
there yesterday as well, and I had conversation with her then, just a brief one. So, because school is out now,
Right.
she will be able to access that information better.
Okay, I was just calling Bill before I jumped right into the conversation because we're preparing for tonight and kind of talk about how did you feel yesterday went? Yesterday we had the meeting. There was a press conference for the Hazel Crest Art Center, and they were dedicating the landscape as a press conference. How did you think that went yesterday?
Now, is that question to me?
Yeah, because
Oh.
Bill's not on.
Yes, it was great. As I had thought I had mentioned, and as I'll mention again, I like the fact that the doctor, as well as, and I don't remember his name, as well as Bill mentioning how this art center coincides still with the open land beautification in terms of the art, in terms of being able to go from one to the other. I thought the presentation was great. It excited me because even with the art center not having known exactly how they were going to connect, I begin to see the vision.
Okay, good. I'm glad because I'm still trying to recover from sitting out in that heat.
I know.
I had a really hard time last night. I'm having a hard time today. I just got sick. I mean, and I just came home and got in the bed because it was so, and under the air and under the fan and whatever else was blowing because it was so hot out there. But I just like the dedication of all of the staff members and the folks that endured that yesterday and sat out there in that sun like that. She was going to move it to the fireplace, but she wanted the fire station where there is air, but she wanted to have the art center as a backdrop for, the media and photo ops and stuff. But it was, it was really.
It was extreme. It was extreme temperature, but I'm glad that I looked at the clock and the whole presentation lasted about 40 minutes, 45. So that was perfect.
Right. And we set up, we got there and on time set up and was ready to go because she had asked everyone to be there and set up by 11:30. And but it gave us a chance also to talk with the trustee, to introduce ourselves, to introduce the project, what we're doing, interact, Christine and Bill interact with, like you said, the gentleman that was there from the funder for the landscape project and other folks, to come up and we were able to introduce ourselves and a project we're doing. And like you said, I was really glad that Bill was able to say, hey, this is what, that he had his artwork out there. He was going to bring larger pieces, but he brought the smaller pieces. And I like the way, again, they connected the work that Open Lands is doing and with Bill as a curator. They were able to see his work, as an artist first. And then they were really, like yourself, you're really excited about the maquettes that Christine bought out and had on the table.
Oh, yeah.
you know, so we all got out there and, you know, we're really trying to prove ourselves, trying to make sure that we're doing what the village manager has a vision for, making sure that, you know, like you said, we're tying both those projects together, one in the south end and you all are in the north part of,
We're more the west, yeah, a little of the northwest portion.
uh-huh. Yeah, so I
Uh,
think that was
yeah,
good. Again, we were out there. We'll be out there tonight and today. Once Carol and Bill log on and Christine, I'm gonna go over that PowerPoint I put together. I did time it. He gave us 5 to 7 minutes, and that's without a lot of talking. And then
okay,
making sure that we have Q&A at the end.
okay. Now,
And so,
one thing I just want to say briefly,
mhm.
I'm on my phone, of course, and I have limited battery life. So by
Okay.
the time I am to speak with Carol, I should be at a point where I will be able to charge my phone and go from there. So if I need to excuse myself,
Uh-huh.
uh, just by that time, just link me back in, if that
Okay.
makes any sense.
Oh yeah, it does. I'll do that because again, you and Carol, I felt was kind of anxious when she called me because she wants to be very clear in her part and what she's doing and fit it in between life and other stuff that we're all involved in.
Okay,
So
great,
like that,
great.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
So let me ask a question then, since everyone is not on yet, is it okay if I leave now and then
sure.
check back with you as I can before 2 o'clock?
Yeah, because I think that's what time she gave you, 2 o'clock, you know,
She
that you
gave
guys
me
could
two
talk.
o'clock.
Because she
Mm-hmm.
just asked if you would be available about 2. And I said, is that Eastern or Central Standard Time? You know,
Right.
and I
And
thought that this meeting could be more brief and not have everybody on
right.
hold, because we have to get ready to get out
Uh,
to the
You,
village
you
tonight.
do. You do. You do. So okay, that's what I think I'll do is pop off and then pop back on.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, let me give Bill a call and see what's going on. Like I know that I've just been invited to be on a board that's overseeing money that's coming into Bronzeville under our
Excellent.
SSA, because they're doing so much development over here, streetscape over here. It's just our street has been torn up for this whole year, just torn up. But it's you can see CDOT changing the look of this corridor. Funding is being spent not only here but in other areas of Chicago that really needed it. Um, you know, and the support for the arts is here. What I've been asked to do, there's money coming in like a million, you know, on public art projects that are to happen over here. And so they wanted to make sure that they had invited me to be on the QCDC commission. And I'm like, you know, I'm really retired. I'm not trying to do city, you know, city politics like that. I don't really want to do it. And so they go, we got something better for you because it's more in
Good.
line with what you do as an artist. And so we want to make sure that you come on and you're being on this, you know, oversight panel for the money that's coming in for the arts and public art in this area.
Excellent. Welcome.
Yeah, so you know, those are opportunities are coming. Not to say they're not being cut, but you know, organizations that have DEI, you know, we're not penalized, and our programs haven't been being shut down.
Bill's
And
on.
hmm?
There's Bill.
Yeah, hey
There you go.
everybody.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, good to see everyone.
Yeah, we're kind of just chit-chatting before and giving you all time to log on. Marilyn logged off because she wants to save her battery. And so when she gets where she's going, she could charge and then she'll jump back on. Her and Carol will do a breakout session today because they really need to talk and get a clear understanding of, you know, the community engagement. So what I wanted to go over today was the PowerPoint that I put together and just kind of paste it, you know, I've already given Mr. Sawyer the flash drive with the PowerPoint on it. So I'm not really gonna edit it. We just want to go through it, you know what I mean? And then time it so that, you know, we stay in our 5-minute mark, is what I kind of want to do.
Okay.
Like that. And then, so Bill, you know, like yesterday, you know, you want to recap?
Oh, yeah. Well, what happened is that we had trustees or sponsors for the Hazel Crest Open Land as well as Art Center project. And there were really some specialists that knew a lot about botanical uh, gardening as well as placement of different plant species or creating a plant community. And then I just came up and explained to the group that we have a good group of artists that that are going to be having their work placed in open lands. And I wanted to thank them for allowing that to happen. So basically, that's what it was discussed. We had artwork on display as well. Uh, Christine, she had her bench work, small demonstration, and then I had a selection of my botanical flowers that were present. Is that?
Yeah. That's pretty much. And they had, I was just looking at the agenda for yesterday, and it's the showcase of the arts in bloom, landscaping into the arts, is highlighting the beautiful landscaping into the arts. And the company that was there was Architect and Design Services were there. You know, the ones that, you know, kind of are building out that, it was a strip mall that they're converting into an art center. So they had the contract to build out. And this is the first phase of it. And they had the Southland Convention and Visitors Bureau executive director there, which is really, really good to see the work that we're doing. They had the Daniel Goh of Kimley Horney, which was they did the landscape design and just kind of installed it. And then Laura Kunkle, Kunkle, America in Bloom executive director was there, and another trustee of their board was there. Um, and they did come over to the table. You know, we were in one of the few shaded areas on the side of the building, and they came over and they took a look and talked with Bill and talked with Christine, you know, ask questions. And, you know, we didn't have a big presentation. We were just present with the maquettes. And then Bill, you know, put up some of his, you know, photographs to show that he is an artist as well, and intending to do art community engagement by using his art form, which is photography and nature, and talking about them going on to metal plates. You know, we got this word metal floating around that,
Yes.
you know, so that's a challenging word. And how does metal deal with nature? So we're going to start explaining it a little better. But they were there and they did tie in what we're doing with open land and what the Creative Arts Center is doing with that, creating a district, you know, there. Um, and that was good because that's what they want to have happen. And then there's also those possibilities of public art and the artists that are on our team, you know, cross-pollinating and doing work over at the art center. You know, so there's, you know, they have more money than us and what we're doing in open lands, but nevertheless, they have the funding to fund some of these bigger public art projects that we want to see happen. So I think getting out there and that heat and setting up and being ready. And then tonight, being ready, being there at 5:30, not 6, but 6 it starts, and then you set up and ready to go. I'm not taking tables, chairs, tablecloths or any of that because it's indoors. And Christine did ask about, you know, the setup, but she's going to bring her maquettes because the visual is important as well, that people want to see something instead of just hearing about it and then the PowerPoint. So So that's tonight, but I'm gonna pull up the PowerPoint and get that going and not wait around because our, let's see here what is going on here. I was kind of closing out other windows that are interrupting the PowerPoint. Screen share has stopped. Okay, I don't know. Okay, the screen share is on. All right, so I because of the feedback that we were getting, I was getting in the meeting, I thought that I would arrange it and go through this more mm, you know, I have more visuals, that we can go through. So here, our second slide is where I left the statement, what inspires this project, a challenge, a goal, a vision. And we'll kind of go through this really quickly. And just, I know that folks can read, we'll give them a couple seconds. I think maybe pace between 5 to 10 seconds between the slides. And then meet the Open Lands team. And I've included projects that, I guess I got to take this off. Anyway, they wanted to include the pop-ups that they've done already in the last 3 years. And so I've added the fire hydrant, the boulders, their signage, recycle containers. They wanted to include the dead end where they put floral, and some of the other elements of the bench work, and then the gathering space to kind of highlight the work and the pop-up that they've been doing. And then I'm like, need our team. Proposed projects. And again, talking about the invitation that's been extended to William Hill. We're creating a vision, art and placemaking proposal. The initiative envisions a series of site-specific public art installations, enchanting the outdoor sculpture garden. And then we're going to do art in the woods. We'll create a map for tourists to explore installation. A little bit about William G. Hill and the Zen Garden installations that he's created at the Woodland Botanical Garden. Some of Bill's work in terms of how he works with photography and then manipulates the photography, and these will in turn be part of the public art on metal. I made sure that I put you in here with the work you're doing with youth to include that in there, Bill.
Yes.
Okay. And then with Alice, the same slide. I did not find an outdoor performance slide of her performing. Peter gave me a better slide for the sculpture here. What's the name of the sculpture?
Signs of Spring.
Signs of Spring.
Yes.
But it seems like it's cropped at the top, but
That's what he gave me, isn't it?
No,
there we go. Wait a minute. Maybe it's,
there was actually more.
that's better.
That's
Yes.
whatever.
Huh?
Okay.
You said it's square?
No,
Okay.
but it
All
was
right.
taller. There was more on it.
Okay, I'll go back and look at that and
Yeah.
make sure that I put it in there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll fix that. This is Cloudburst, the first 3 towers of raindrops. This is the first project that was designed site-specific for this space. And this is the proposed concrete base for sculptures. Making sure that we have the outdoor wood look instead of just concrete. This is Peter's timeline and steps for creating and completing the cloudburst. I just dropped it down because they are asking me for timelines, and everyone has a separate timeline that we can't just give them. I can't just give them
Right.
one timeline. It's just a separate timeline. So I've included your timeline, which is part of your proposal. And then other images of you in your studio, what the images are going to look like, or sculptures in the snow. And I'll adjust this right here to make it fit. And then, you know, how colorful they are. We'll talk. Once the canopy is turns into, what is it, fall and winter, this is what the sculptures stand out. Another idea, a concept, you know, because you have so many boulders out there. So what you're proposing to shape the boulders?
Well, you can actually acquire these are ceramic,
Oh, okay.
but we can do it with boulders and just find a whole bunch of different shapes and put them together
Mhm.
like a family.
Okay. And the concept, I know that they love this one, and concept for maybe the third phase, you know, but you know, because there's no way to cross that canal.
Right.
It's a creek, it's not a canal, it's a creek, you know,
Right.
other than going all the way to Kenzie or going back up to 171st to create a bridge. And that's more of an infrastructure issue with Public Works and putting something there to cross over, and something that we're proposing. And then these are the archway sculpture concept that Christine Perry is proposing. I made sure that I added other work that she's doing and how she can transform the other trees that are out there. They're dying. This the work that she's doing in Cook County Forest Preserve, that's already there, gathering space. And this is the sculpture bench concept that she presented yesterday and will have on display today. She also gave us her timeline for production and installation of the Hazel Crest Arch. And she's projecting to have her project completed by November of installed in late September, and then dedicated in October, and begin her phase 2 in the spring of 2006, and have it completed by November of 2026. Carol Henry Alexander, this is listening to the wind chimes project that she's doing. She wants to fabricate a series of, you know, wind chime instruments in the trees. Samples of her work, and then I also placed them in the gallery, Oasis in the Wood project that we did in 2023, and how she's manipulated everything that was found out in the Brandywine Woods. And then I put this back in, even though, you know, it's about the metal piece, but I put it back in about the fabrication of it and the idea of it. But this was to show proof of the level of project management that I've done as on this project, and was proposing for installations that happen along that open road that goes back to residents, and creating some visuals on this side of the that creek. I also put past projects because I do work with burlap on trees. This was in Cole County, and through the Illinois Arts Council. This is a project Brandywine with Oasis in the Woods, and a project last summer where youth came out with burlap and adorned trees. and then I'll add to their, community engagement piece. Showing that I do paint in nature, because we talked about putting branches and,
Right.
and so I added the project I did at Cook County Forest Hospital with their therapeutic recreation patients. This is our timeline and deliverables. And you said I gave too much information on that one slide, so I just broke it down to what our first deliverables are in terms of project management, our reports that are due. Also, community engagement pieces, and these are the 5 different engagement dates that we have on our calendar. And metal art with Peter. This is what they're paying for his first sculpture. And the second sculpture installation with Christine. And site-specific installation with Carol is what they're paying for. Phase 2, which will begin in spring of 2026, is again with the site-specific metal seating elements and site-specific installation photos on aluminum. That's Bill's project. And then phase 2 is a landscape native plant installation. And task E would be the 2 sculpture benches for Christine Perry. And then this is what the trustees are allotted this year in the budget. What we're really talking for is next year's budget. And then that's the end. You asked me to take the Williams Center for the Arts and make it smaller, and the other logos.
It seems like this took about 10 minutes.
Did it take, because I stopped and started talking?
Yeah, I mean,
You said 5 to 7 minutes?
Yeah, 5 to 7, but it seemed like we're going into 10 minutes.
Okay. So don't talk? Or which slides should I rest on?
Or
Well, on the slides that have all the text, just say 2 things about it. Don't read the whole text.
Okay. I was trying to find where I can make this, enlarge this as slides, so we're not looking at. So we're just going through it. You want me to go through it again, or you pretty much are cool with, okay, Albert, just don't read all this, just go through it. And then I'll put the a timer on for 5 minutes. I didn't think it was 10 though.
Yeah, it was.
Was it? You timed it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because we don't want to get on their nerves with something too long. Because I think last week it was long because there was a Q&A in between. So we really have 15 minutes, and they wanted to reserve time for Q&A and keep it to 7. All right, I want to go through and kind of fix some of these that are off. And that'll be it. I'll just go back. I won't take us through that again, but I just want you to see how I updated it in case you didn't get a chance to go and look at the PowerPoint. So what I'll do is I'll spend the rest of the afternoon fixing it. Any suggestions, Bill? Because then
it's all good. I think, like you said, the less said is better, because if you hit some of the bullet points, I think it'll be fine within, say, 5 to 7 minutes. I mean, 5 to 7 minutes. But it looks okay.
Okay, and I'll just go through. For some reason, I already gave Mr. Sawyer the flash drive, with the PDF and the PowerPoint on it. So I don't really need to copy this. They have it. I'm going to take a backup one just in case something happened between yesterday and today, and whoever was handling it doesn't have it. And then, just take it for a backup.
Okay.
Are you going to be out there, Peter, or no?
No, because I asked you last week and you told me I didn't have to be there.
Oh, you don't have to be there. I'm just like, I was just asking.
I'm sorry.
I have to,
Everybody's asking about, where's Peter? He said he wasn't coming out here.
everyone, I have to depart because I have a lot of preparation work to do. So, and Alpha, you'll be coming at 4?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll be ready for you then. But
All right.
it's
And
just
what
saying,
I did,
everybody.
Bill, is I put together a toolbox. So you have tape. You don't have to bring that stuff. And I'm bringing the easel. You don't have to bring that. I will put it in the car, and everything that you didn't have yesterday, I put in the toolbox.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right,
Thank
so you don't have to scramble and put that together. I already did it because that was just, I don't know what happened yesterday with no scissors, no tape, no, just everything that could have ticked did, but then we had to troubleshoot, but it's just too hot out there. I consolidated everything into one bag and just go out the door carrying it.
Okay,
Don't
great.
have to worry about that when I
Okay.
drive.
All right, I'll see everybody soon.
Okay, great.
Bye, Bill.
All right.
Bye.
All right, that's about it, Peter. I was going to talk about today, and I'll just go back and clean up those slides and wait for Marilyn and Carol
Okay.
to log on it too. But thank you for joining us. If you wanted to make any other input or.
No, I mean, I think some of it might be a little redundant, so you don't speak to them, every time you show the space. Just kind of flash through some of that stuff in the beginning.
All right, and then something I said, about, since we have the time and you're the only artist on, you had questions about the contract for services.
Oh, I don't have that with me. No, I was just it didn't seem to apply to what Christine and I were doing.
Okay, then that's just, we just say not applicable.
Well, it was, okay, well, I'll come up with something and get it back to you.
Okay, great.
That's it. I don't have anything else.
Yeah. I just want to lock down our contracts, and then that way, once we get through today and they let us know, what's what.
Right.
I know I have yours. Well, I already know what's what because they're really excited about us having, but it's another formality, not to assume that,
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we still have 6 other trustees to work this conversation through. And I think it's a good conversation and to be a part of, I really think it's a good conversation.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for your support.
Okay.
All right.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, great.
And I won't say more than I expected. I didn't know what to expect. And they all meet my expectations in terms of what they do, their presentation. And as I said, very professional group. And I'm glad to have met with them and have them working on this vision that has been in my eye for a good while.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with your personality, Carl's, but and how we're engaging with each other and the enthusiasm, that the village has, for us to come out and work, with and I really like working with Mr. Sawyer and also working with Laverne. I mean, Miss Murphy. That I think that it's a good, just good energy. Everybody has real good energy around this
It
project.
is a good energy. It is a good energy, and I'm glad for that. It's something that we had not had before, speaking in terms of the beautification. So we're excited. We're excited. We really are. Can't wait to see the finished results of phase 1. Let me put it like that. And just glad to have met all of you all. A wonderful group of people. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. So Carol is on. So Carol, we really won't need the breakout room because we've already, Peter was on earlier, Bill was on earlier. Bill's trying to get ready for our meeting tonight. Since after pop-up research station, we're gonna go out to the Village of Hazel Crest to be there by 5:30 to set up. We have to deal with traffic and stuff, and so he got off to go prepare for tonight, and then we're waiting for you to join the meeting. But I am going to go through the PowerPoint again. I went in and made some adjustments. I gave the flash drive to Mr. Sawyer last night so that he could give it, so I mean, we spent a lot of time troubleshooting last week on equipment and getting our PowerPoint ready, to show. So this time we just wanted to go real smooth, and we just do our up to 5 to 7 minutes of the slides, and then from there, then we'll open up a Q&A, and we'll only maximize 15 minutes of time on the agenda. We won't go into like we were really long the last time, I think. But everybody had questions, and it was really good, with the Q&A and folks interested in the work that we're sharing. So here we go. And I'm not really going to change the PowerPoint at all. It's already ready to go, but I'm just, going through it today. If anybody wants to put a timer on so that we get through this in 5 minutes.
I can do it.
Liza. Okay, great. All right, so we're going to start off with Arts in the Woods, prepared for the Village of Hazel Crest Beautification Project. A statement about what inspired this project, a challenge, a goal, a vision. And the Hazel Crest Open Lands Art in the Woods Placemaking Project is an exciting initiative to transform our community's landscape by integrating art and nature. These are the things that we're going to strive to engage our residents and also to participate in both the design and installation and of a captivating collection of sculptures. These artworks will serve as visual focal points and catalysts for connection during community gatherings. Meet our team. Meet the Open Lands team. Marilyn Allen, Open Lands Commissioner. Carl Persons, Village of Hazel Crest Open Lands Coordinator. These are the projects that the Art in the Woods have already started. They're the pop projects that they're doing. They have created the fire hydrants are painted. They have the boulders that are covering manholes. Signage is coming along. And then we have found objects that were discarded by the village. And also another kind of installation at a dead end road where florals were put in. They're taking chainsaws to the wood of dead trees and converted it into artwork and seating elements. And then we have the concrete benches that are recycled, repurposed, and they're out there in the open lands for folks to sit and along the trails. And then we also have the gathering space, or the presentation area when you first come into the open land on 171st are homes. That's a question, Carol. Okay, anyway, meet the team. William G. Hill, myself, Alpha Bruton, Alice Smith-Jones, our engagement coordinator. We have Peter Gray, Christine Perry, and Carol Henry Alexander. Proposed projects, expanding the presentation area, gathering space, working with the incorporating elements that highlight the area's stunning natural beauty, and then also designs will take inspiration from the vibrant floral and fauna of the region and significant historical and cultural initiatives that resonate with the residents. The Village of Hazel Crest has extended an invitation to William G. Hill, tasking him to create a visionary art and placemaking proposal. We're also proposing Art in the Woods. We'll create a map for tourists to explore installations. A little bit about William G. Hill as a curator. He has Zen garden installations that he's created in his own gardens at the Woodland Botanical Nature Center. Will is proposing to work with educating future horticulturalists and offering a community engagement project that features youth going out and taking photographs and manipulating the photographs into artwork that will be put on metal sheets. Our Alice Jones Smith is our community engagement, and she will play a crucial role in planning events. Peter Gray, this is an installation he created called Signs of Spring. That's part of the botanical garden that William Hill has on Dorchester along the Metro line. This is the project that Peter Gray has proposed, is Cloudburst. It's a 3 towers of raindrops. And then there will be bright colors added to it so that in the fall and winter, it will become visible. And in the spring and summer, it's underneath the canopy will be the showcase. Concrete base, we propose to take the concrete bases and make sure that we are painting them and creating or staining them so that they are looking like wood panels instead of the concrete, and they blend in with nature. Timeline for creating and completing the cloudbursts. Total time, approximately 10 to 12 weeks. Images of Peter in his studio, images of what the sculptures will look like in the winter, amongst the snow, and in the spring, amongst the floral. This project here are metal ceramic balls, because you have a lot of boulders that are that you've placed on manholes. He's talking about grouping those boulders together to make, families. His third phase, he's talking about the concept of having this as a metal piece to be a showcase for the collection, where it will help with the pedestrians so that they can do a cross bridge here on the creek to get to the other side instead of going down to Kenzie or going all the way over to 171st. Christine Perry has proposed an archway sculpture concept that will begin another gathering space area. Christine is known for her wood carving on trees that are basically dead trees, and she's known as a woodsmith that goes out and carves onto wood. A couple of her other projects that are gathering spaces that are found in Cook County Forest Preserve, and then the sculpture bench concept for her second phase of her installation. This is her production installation timeline of Hazelnut Arch. It should be completed by September of 2005 and dedicated in October 2020. And her next phase will begin in 2026 as the bench, and will be completed in November 2026. Carol Henry Alexander is proposing listen to the wind chimes project, where the wind chimes, a percussion instrument, will be fabricated with suspended metal tubes or rods, bells, and found metal. She's proposing 3 of these projects, and this is phase 1. This is Carol and some of her other work, how she's manipulated some of the vines and wood that she finds in nature and installs them. Her work in gallery installation, and also her Oasis in the Woods, which is located in Brandywine, Maryland, where she's manipulated the bitter vine for Bruton, project managed a sculpture metal chairs, and proposing to place seating elements along this the road leading to the residence, and it's on the other side of the creek, which will be phase 2 of the project. A couple of other outdoor installations with burlap as part of artisan residency projects with youth engagement, and also a project where she adorned trees in Brandywine, Maryland, and Jennifer's Garden during the Oasis in the Woods project, and also working with youth on burlap wrapped trees and adorning them. Projects that she did is in art and healthcare, workforce hospital, and community engagement with the therapeutic recreation patients, painting murals with nature, and art and wellness. Hazel Crest Open Lands, this is our timeline and deliverables between July 2025 and November 2025. 2026. Task B, community engagement. We have 5 community engagement events that we're going to pull our audience together and help us with identifying different, I don't know, I'll make up something for that. 20, I don't know. Task C, metal art installation, Peter Gray, the cost. Task D, installation of wood sculpture elements, Christine Perry, and our cost. And then site-specific installation for Soundscape, Carol's first installation, and the cost. Task D, phase 2, in the spring of 2026, we'll be working with the site-specific installation of metal seating elements begin. And then task D, phase 2, site-specific installation, photos on aluminum. And phase 2, landscape native plant installation that will happen. This will happen in spring of 2026. So the total and then task E, phase 2, sculpture bench project with Christine Perry. And this is what the total cost of phase 1 will be.
Wonderful.
What was our time?
Okay, it's 9:24, 9 minutes and 24 seconds.
Okay.
The 5-minute mark was right before Christine when you were talking about the bridge, right before you
Okay,
started.
so I need to cut out some of that was me back paddling and talking through the installation. So cut out some of that. I have my note cards, and I'm going to print out this slide so that I could just hit points and not ramble or something.
If you want to do a test run, just let me know and we'll time you.
Okay, we'll do it after they have met. So, all right. So that's what I'm going to present tonight. Mr. Sawyer already has the external drive, the flash drive. I gave it to him at the meeting yesterday, so he'll have it and they can prepare, and set up and see if everything works, PDFs and all that. All right. Turn it over to Marilyn and Carol.
Okay, great.
Hey, Carol.
Hey, Marilyn. How you doing today, sister?
I'm good. I'm good. I love that picture of those herbs you sent this morning.
I'm flirting with you. Plant
Yeah.
flirting. That's elderberry.
Oh, what is that?
And it's just like going berserk in the garden this year. I should have a lot of berries.
Okay. Okay.
Because it's really good for cough syrup.
I know when COVID started, I had purchased a bottle of elderberry syrup.
Yep.
And I sipped on that for a good while.
Yeah, it works.
I'm going to say that it held back any COVID, but thank God I didn't get any, but it did.
Yes. So I wanted to talk with you because we're working together on the full moon social.
Yes.
And I have received an email from you describing some other components to the event. And I wanted to just talk with you about how shall we, you and I, work together, because in my experience, you are the beginning of the community engagement. And what I would like to do is have, a seat at the table when things are being discussed. And I'm wondering if that can work for you. Because like when I heard about the band, hey, I'm cool with the band, but boy, I want to talk to the person who runs the band and see what kind of music they're talking about, and they can hear what I'm trying to do. Or we can do it where I've also, I could just do my thing and have that be a part of what you're doing. I didn't know if you want the band to be part of the ceremony that we'll do honoring the moon and its fullness, or if you're thinking, okay, Carol's going to do this, the band's going to do this, I think of it as separate elements, or or do you want to have a cohesive program?
Well, I'm going to start out by saying this, something I had not mentioned, but on that day, I'm actually having a family reunion. There is no doubt that I will not make that reunion this year because from what I understood the Moonlight Social to become was a full day event.
So am I hearing you say you won't be there?
No, I won't be there. That Friday, I may make a visit, but for that family reunion, no, I will not be there. Not be there for the Moonlight Social, be there for the family reunion event that day.
So who's my point person for the project now?
No, no, I want you to understand me clearly.
Okay.
The project we are still on, you and I on that. I will still be there for the Moonlight uh, event. Just the sidebar was to say that that is also the day that my family is having a family reunion in which I will not be attending that family.
Oh my goodness.
Well, things happen. And this is fairly new. We started with this about 3 years ago, and they're doing it every year. And so I don't have a problem this particular year in turning it over. I'll make certain that I make an appearance the night before. But because of this event
Wow.
fall on that, I intend to be there for that Moonlight Social
Wow.
because we had talked about making this an all-day event. Am I correct? Was that the
I mean, is that
impression?
reasonable in August 9th for us elders to be out there all day with programming? I mean, I just trying to keep it real.
Well, yeah, that is something to keep it real about. I think this is a good time to have that discussion because again, I thought that I thought based on what I was interpreting from you was that I remember hearing music, having music, and again, I thought that I was interpreting that from you. And something about all, well, not necessarily all day, but an afternoon or making this an event that was more than a nighttime event.
Okay, so my response to that is I don't remember talking about music. I remember talking about drumming,
Okay. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is a far
Okay.
cry from a marching band. But we might be able to, my thinking. This is what I was thinking, that I would do like something with young people in the earlier part of the day where we would be moving about the land and collecting the materials that we would use for the evening mandala build. Or we could spend time with the young people or whoever to walk the woods and choose the materials and build. We can build it in the afternoon so that as people come in the evening, they will be um, greeted with a nature-based plant mandala. And I do want people who come in the evening to at least in some way add to it. Maybe they can add candles, or something like that. But it's definitely, I'm open. I'm open to whether we do two different things with two different groups of people. I mean, I don't know the community, so that is where you come in and tell me the viability of the ideas.
Well, let me start out with saying initially, when we would do the Moonlight Social, it would be in the evening as it's getting darker. We would sit around in the conversation area. We would have snacks, we would talk, and basically that's what it was, a social. We would socialize, and then the moon, when it would come up, oh, we're all excited, and then that would end our evening. When you mentioned about the drumming, that sounded very interesting, and thanks for correcting and reminding me on that. You said drumming.
Mm.
And when the word marching band is included, we're not talking about a real band that's marching. Somehow music got connected to that of the drumming portion. And I think that is when one of the commissioners thought this could be community involvement, inviting a school band to come and just play music, not throughout the whole entire time, but just to making it an activity day. And as you said, for maybe the two groups, the daytime or the evening pre-moonlight event. So with that, the question became to me when you mentioned drumming, how would that come about? How would that be something that you would bring, or you knew of drummers, knowing that you're from another state? That was the thought. How would we pull that together? What would we do? And then that's when the music aspect came into play.
I'm open to music. I haven't done it that way, but I'm open to it. But it would be really interesting to speak with the woman who, or man, sorry, the person who works with the young people and see what they have to offer.
Right. So at our meeting, the last meeting that we had when Alpha and Bill and all presented their presentation to us, and we mentioned, of course, your involvement. I don't think we said drumming. By this time, the word music had came into play.
All
And
right.
that's when, as a matter of fact, Carl said, uh, what did he say? He said, oh no. He said, well, one young lady stepping back said, oh yes, and we can have the marching band. Now she's on this marching band thing. We can have the marching band to come. And Carl said, oh, that's football season. So he mentioned that. And that's when we have a person who is an administrator. In fact, she's the president of one of the boards at our local school, 144. She said, and along with another commissioner, that we could have the elementary school come out. They have musicians as well to come out and do something. We did not have to rely on the high schools that are getting and being involved in their football. So we thought, well, that's a good idea. Again, since music had came up. Let me ask you though, how do you normally do your events?
It's funny because there's no normal, because every community is different,
Okay.
and their needs and their stakeholders and their resources, it's no,
Okay.
but I try to work with as many people from the community as possible, the
Okay.
stakeholders from Jump Street, so that we're all on the same page and we can hopefully flow together through the planning and the event. So, that's why I really wanted to talk with you, because I'm trying to get a grasp on how y'all work together and how these things, these ideas come to the front, and which ones are picked up on and which ones are blown off or whatever. Now, I hear you say you have a commissioner who seems to be um, uh, engaged with marching band.
Well,
And you
she
would
did.
like to please her by having her be heard and having her group be part of it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, she doesn't particularly have a group, but she has gone out in the past, from what we understand, and have talked with teachers or band teachers in regards to bands for other projects. She said they had an interest. We don't know, because actually, when she was doing this was not known to us. So we really don't know, but we've adopted the idea that having, again, participation with the community and the schools, this would be a great idea to bring them out to become aware of the open lands. It's almost I won't use the term shameful. I'd have to find another word for that synonym. But a lot of the community has not been out in the open land. And we've had,
Marilyn, could you
yes,
also let Carol know, and because this is a case study, that you've only been really going back out there for what, not even 5 years now? Maybe
back
3,
out where?
in the open land. You've been clearing the area and making it more inviting for folks to take advantage of it. Before it was more overgrown, you know what I mean? Enlighten her with those conversations to see how, about the difference in the communities coming out there, because it's still
Well,
a new thing.
okay. Well, I've been with the open lands for almost about 15 years. So it had been pre-developed before I got on. Is this what you're meaning, Alpha? Because I've put into the open lands, I've put in there at least about, like I said, 15 to 12 years, 13, 15 years. Because I was volunteering out there before I think we even really had started a commission, or a commission has been started. I came out, and I think this was some of our first conversation time when I pulled to the road, in the very beginning. And I was saying that at the time I got involved, we had the ash burl issue with the trees and
Mhm.
had to take plenty of them down. And that's when I came on board. We were taking them down and replanting other trees. So that was probably about 15 years ago. I didn't know about a commission. I don't even recall hearing about a commission slash committee. But at some point, there was one that was organized. We became commissioners. The village had other commissions, but they did not really have one for the open lands. And at that point, I became, even before the commissioner, that's when I was introduced to becoming a master gardener. And I finished that program, and somewhere down the line, the commission had gotten started. So I was there at a crucial point, I call it, because we had trees coming down by a large volume because of the ash burl damage. And that gave me the opportunity to plant a lot of trees myself with them, dig into the soil, the ground roots of it. So when we would have events, though, or try to have events, what was going on when I got involved with Carl and the open lands? We had the Johnny Appleseed. Johnny Appleseed catered, if I could say, to the village's park district children that were there for daytime, maybe daycare, because this was in September. So, of course, that was a free event, just small children, but we never could really get a large enough, in my opinion, amount of residents to come out. We always did spring tours, and then we would do fall tours. We had a small group to come out. Carl, of course, would navigate that. But what we're talking about today is something different. It's a larger scale. We have new commissioners on board that are excited and not just movers, but shakers. Am I saying that right? uh, Ready to get involved and see the need for uh, community involvement. I've gone to many of the conferences, and it's important when we talk about that. And it's time that we buck up and get more involved with community coming out to see what we have and the events that we give. As I said, we've given different tours each year. We've also have the Moonlight Social came about probably, I'm going to say, before COVID, 2018, 19. And we would just come out and do that. And we would just socialize among ourselves. We'd invite others, but oftentimes we've got a few community residents to come out. We also would do, let's see, the Moonlight Social. And our first Moonlight Social involved taking a tour in the dark. We had someone in the front with a flashlight, someone in the back with a flashlight. We went along the creek, came around the pathway, and that was rather fun. And we had a large group of residents then. We had the little neon bracelets to keep up with who all was there and follow along with it. So it was interesting. It was interesting. We saw a pair of eyes in the woods. We don't know what animal it was, but that was an exciting factor. So now today, we're looking at something different. We're talking about music. Seems like we're talking about something earlier than 7 p.m. at night for the Moonlight Social. And so with the participations of the new commissioners that mentioned music, something we had been wanting to get out there, and with their willingness to connect with the schools to have this happen, we're excited. Not that the band would be marching. I think it would be important and definitely necessary, Carol, for you to have conversation and meet whomever the band leaders, band teachers would be, to not only solidify this, but to get their view, get your view of what you would like to see happen.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions, right? Just from that, I have to tell you, Marilyn, I'm so happy you shared that information with me. I understand more what's going on in the community there and how you've been growing your project.
Yeah.
And so for me, I want to know, are those commissioners people who are like, would want to build, create a mandala on the land there out of like plant materials? Like I sent pictures. I'm sure you guys saw some pictures of them, right? I sent them to Alpha. Did you? If not, I'll send you some more.
Yeah, please do that.
Okay.
And then I can also share with them.
We can share with you right now, but I didn't put them as part of the PowerPoint, but I can share them so she can get a sense of what you're doing.
And
Now,
so, I'm thinking about who would be involved with creating that? I mean, we can go everything from me creating it and they put the icing on the cake, or they can be involved with the gathering of materials, the creating of the artwork, and the icing on the cake. It depends on what part of the community or parts of the community you are wanting to involve in a deeper way. Also, you were talking about how, your small numbers of participants, and I was wondering if you guys had considered partnering with maybe a local, I don't know who you people are. Is it a church? Is it a community center? Is it a senior center? Who might be available or be interested in being part of such an event?
The church that we're working with is the one that Carl belongs to, and he was going to do some more outreach to his church.
We had also talked about connecting with the Park District. The Park District isn't far from where we are. We're just open. We had talked about connecting with other communities as well as just Hazel Crest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
Yeah. We would like to reach out further.
Yeah, I mean,
And this is,
even do you have a commercial area in Hazel Crest? Like, oh, the gym, the muscle man can carry the wood and put it in, I mean, there's lots of the dancing school, or the gardening center, or just so many ways we can kind of twist the pitch to get them in on it, and then with that bringing people with them. We want to bring people. I hear that strongly from you.
well, that does sound good, because when I think of the Park District offers a senior group where they have drumming, cardio chair is what they call it, which I was a part of at one point. We do have a gym over there. Now they're doing karate, things such of that nature. We also have our library, the Grand Prairie Library.
The library.
Looking at the flyer here. So the library. We have Carl compiled a hardcover booklet, if you will, of our activities through the year. So they do have that at our library, and they do have activities. So we can connect with the library.
Yeah, because we can do it in a space that's pretty well accessible. If we invite elders, that they can come and can roll the wheelchair in, or the walker, or whatever. Someone who might need that kind of accessibility. Is that possible to do it in an area where people of all abilities can come, or do you think? I don't know.
Well,
I mean, you could get every commissioner. Can you say every commissioner bring 10 people? You know what I mean? you know, let's broaden the circle. Oh, that's what we need for the all to bring.
yeah. But I think the understanding that I'm trying to get is, are we looking for an area, maybe like a concreted area? We talk about wheelchairs and walkers, so forth, away from the open lands.
Oh, no. Let's be in the open lands.
The open lands. Well, our pathway has been productive.
Mm-hmm.
we've had many disabilities to take advantage of that pathway in terms of the wheelchair and the stroller and
Mm-hmm.
the walker. So that's something that is available.
Is there images of the pathway on the website? Or Alpha, do you have some?
Yeah, give me a minute, I'll pull it up.
Thank you. So yeah, maybe we just want something that's in the late afternoon and flows into your traditional evening vibe, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Now, what I found interesting, Carol, is what you're offering with the chimes. I think that's so different. It linked me to the thought of disability persons, maybe the blind,
Mhm.
being able to hear that sound. It made me really also think of autism. Uh, Factors where sound can be important and music can be important based on the person with the autism. Now, we do have our liaison works with autistic students.
Yeah, young people. I'm like
Yeah,
not like totally cool with working with young people.
the young people. Yeah, and I know that had been an issue with her thinking about bringing them out. But if we could get, and it to me, it depends on the autism, uh, whether it's a manageable type of autism versus a severe. So that's why I use the term autism. But
Yeah,
blind,
some of my last days working in schools were with autistic kids, and I just realized like after 30 years I didn't have the patience anymore, and that they
yeah,
deserved loving patience,
yeah,
and I just kind of stopped. Now I work more with young adults and elders.
okay,
Yeah, the
with
kids,
autism or just adult.
anyone who is either a young adult. I love the young adults. They're such visionaries, you know.
Okay, okay,
And then the elders, because they have so much to share and so often are lonely, alone, you know,
yeah,
and bringing them
okay,
together.
okay, okay. So that gives me a sense again of what we're talking about. Looking for specific maybe groups. When we talk about, if we're talking about younger groups.
It's hard to get those young adults unless you pay them. You know what I'm saying? That's my
Oh, I
experience.
do. I do. That's the first thing they want to know.
That's right.
First thing. But that's what I was thinking more or less of when I was seeing what you were going to be bringing to the table, as you said, uh, the the sound. You
Hmm.
talked about sound.
Yes.
Know if that included birds as well, or
Oh
if it,
yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
just we talked. I went to a conference and we talked about a sound walk, and that was the first time I had really heard that. But what I admit, I've always have loved being out in the open lands was the sound, the birds,
Yes.
just all of that, even to the wind rustling in the leaves, all of that.
I hear you. I hear you. Is there an Audubon group around? Bird
We've had
watchers?
no, we've talked about an Audubon, one of the newer commissions. commissioners was kind of adamant about that. But we thought, not I, that when we start talking about an Audubon, that's a totally different scenario, although we will create a space for it, but it would not probably be along the pathway in there because we have 53 acres. The pathway is only about 22 acres. So we have other acreage that is not really being utilized. That would be an area I brought to Carl that would be best for an Audubon, where those that are interested in those birds, the young lady brought up very ornate bird houses and all of that. Uh, we just thought a separate area would work better for
Mm,
that. We do have it, and that would probably be somewhere down the line.
I understand. I thought of it, Marilyn, because I recently, on our Patuxent River, there was birding week, and they had a group of Black birders, and they got a
Mhm.
boat, and we were out there on the river. They gave us each
Oh my
binoculars,
goodness.
and it was, we saw and heard over 60 different kinds of birds,
Wow.
from teeny tiny little birds to eagles.
Wow.
And it was nice to have the camaraderie, the sisters and brothers on the boat, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
having a good time at dusk, and so
Wow.
I don't know if I'm not thinking that y'all have to do anything except invite some, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what we thought. The commissioner wanted to get elaborate with it and all of that. And I just simply had mentioned to Carl, we have a separate area that would be good for that, more of a quieted area where you can hear the birds and all of that. And we
Yes.
also have a man-made lake.
Oh.
So that was more of the area I was kind of thinking of near that
Mm-hmm.
man-made lake.
Yes, the birds love the water. They congregate.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're I have to admit that up until just recent years, and I think Alpha, you touched on it when you said 5 years, we were just doing trees. I had the vision of a little more than just trees, but Carl being an arborist, and after having taken down those trees over the years, he's tree. Well, it was time to add a little bit more to the tree.
Mm,
And that's kind of where we are now.
okay.
Finally, in a sense, making a move, a larger move than just what we had been doing.
I see great success in the work. I think the more you broaden your focus, the more people will be coming into your space. I think it'll be great. What was it? Friday morning, I went over to our river house, and there were 7 Girl Scouts. Let me tell you something. Those Girl Scouts were cleaning. I've seen them there. They climb the trees and trim them. They're doing service. Service is part of the Girl
Huh.
Scout thing now,
Okay, okay,
and
okay.
they were just, teenagers, high school, and first year college. I was a Girl Scout,
I
till
remember
my
you telling me,
teens.
and
Yes.
so was I. Was I?
Oh, those
You
girls
know,
were something. They were
I,
something.
those are wonderful memories as being a Girl Scout. Wonderful memories. There's times when I flash back to those days.
Me too. Especially seeing those girls because they want to get it done. You know what I mean?
Okay,
And they're having a good
okay,
time doing it because they're
okay,
their own sisterhood. It was really
okay.
so. That's what I'm just thinking of possibilities. And our conversation has been broad and full of ideas and imagination. We're exercising our imaginations together today. I think it's a good
Yes,
thing.
yes.
I almost
Now,
feel like I need to almost stop and think about all the things we've talked about. And I would like that for you too, if you have the space, the brain space, and we can maybe come together again, maybe next Tuesday. Because I remember Alpha used to have little side um, rooms that she would have meetings in with particular people during the general cafe. And that's what I was
okay,
thinking. We could just take maybe a half hour on Tuesdays and just, keep working towards this happening in a good way.
Absolutely. There are breakout rooms that are available every Tuesday. And the only problem is they cannot be recorded. So those are private conversations.
okay,
You'd have to take your own
okay.
notes or find a way to record it yourself.
What does it take
Okay.
to get one of those, Liza?
I mean, you could like have a hand recorder, or you could record the what you say on your phone. I
We
mean,
have AI that could be added over there, no?
I'd have to find out. I
Okay.
don't know about the breakout rooms. I just know that prior to when I looked into it, because we haven't used them in quite a while. But
Right.
I can let you know by next week.
Well, what I was really asking was, how do we make the breakout room happen for Marilyn and I on Tuesdays?
All it takes is when you show up, make a request. You can make a request in the chat or verbally, and I'd be happy to create one and send you right over there.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Right.
Liza. Does
So
that
we have a
work
few
for
minutes
you?
left, and you asked me to pull up these, the road, so you can have here it is. You asked me, the pavement is the only one I found
Yes.
with
Thank
the
you.
pavement kind of thing, like right there.
Hmm.
We were out there,
Where
last.
is that in relationship to entryway to the parklands? Do you
It's
know,
the,
Marilyn?
Yes, that was okay. Once you get into the
here it
parkway,
is.
I don't even think that's what I
That.
call the curve. That was not quite getting to the curve. The curve was a little further.
Okay, I was showing like
Yeah,
the type of road, I think, not where, um, I was just focused on grass at this time, but you see at the edge right here, there's
Yes.
that kind of road.
Yes.
Uh,
It makes it accessible.
uh-huh. That's what, and
uh-huh.
we could talk to, Carl and Public Works about thinking about, handicap accessibility. This is closer to the road and, on the other side where, the neighbors are. Those
Yeah,
are,
that's across the creek.
mhm. And, this is, of course, is rougher, for accessibility. You had put those pavers there, but this is uneven ground. I just know for me, when I was talking to my pain management person, I just was like, I have to have a brace when I'm walking around out here because I don't want to, hurt.
Right. And you're absolutely right, because we know that the ground is not even all through the open lands.
Mhm.
So we even have to be careful as well.
So this is the
Uh,
kind of like for the gathering area, they would have to navigate
uh,
this. And there's no like over at William Hill, he has like these, I guess the park district or something donated them to him, where you can at least have the wheelchairs go over them, or the walkers. Those are graded plastic, they're beaded into the ground so that it creates a pathway.
my suggestion would be not to even have the wheelchairs and the walkers attempt to even go into that area, but to
Yeah.
use the way. Because before we had that, that's what we gathered a lot along the pathway, because that's where we gave a lot of our tours, walking
Mhm.
on the pathway. So that conversation area is just being constructed. And no, it would not do well.
And even on this side, this is the Kenzie side, where this is they're changing the sidewalk with the upgrade of the streetscape over there, but that's a year to two out. But this right here is the other side. We're not even over here on this side.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have the traffic, and we're trying to bring
Yeah,
up
so we're not doing
sounds
that
of
side.
nature.
Right.
We're not on that side, but I'm just showing you where you know, the kind of sidewalk. This is the only level sidewalk.
Yes, I'm hearing you. I
Right.
understand.
But
But that
everything else is
that pathway has been quite vital. It's been kept up. There's no cracks or uneven surfaces on it. We have skaters to come through, bicyclists.
over here. This area is a maybe, but there's traffic. But this is
Yeah.
more, even more accessible.
Well, that's high traffic
Yeah.
area going to those condos back there. And
The path looked good to me, Marilyn. If you think the path that we saw at the beginning was, pretty good, that's what we could work with that.
oh yeah, that's what I would recommend. That path is very good.
Well, we're in accord on that. And we're in accord on that because in terms of the activity and the creative action that we're going to take collectively, that looked like a great spot.
Okay, there's a better view of the pathway back here.
Yeah.
That's lovely. So we want to be amongst nature. We want
So
to.
here we go. Going back off in there. We should have some kind of disclaimer also, for, people to, a waiver or something, you know what I mean? Do you have that out there when people come? Groups come and
We haven't, but I think that would be ideal.
Let me ask you this: where do you usually, traditionally have the Moon Festival?
Right there, where the conversation area is. Just go right up in there, even before we put that there, and put our lawn chairs out there and table out there with our refreshments. And I think the last 2, maybe 3 years is when we had put the fire pit out there. Before that, we didn't have the fire pit, so we would just park on the lawn. And
right. You just got a get together going on.
Yeah, it was just a get together, and some of us would even maybe put their chairs along on the pathway. We just congregated all over.
right here.
What about the pathway? How far is it from where you traditionally have your gathering? How far?
It's right there. It's right there.
There we got our spot. We got our
spot. It's right there.
Right on.
Yeah, once you park your car, you walk, depends on where you park it, but the pathway is right there.
Right on.
It's the beginning of that portion of the open land.
Beautiful.
All right, ladies, we have 2 minutes.
Okay.
And I gotta get ready for packing up the car and getting over to Bill and then getting to the meeting.
Well, Alpha, thank you for doing all that. I think your presentation is fabulous.
It is. It
Thank
is.
you. So the other element, thank you so much. I'm like, okay, let's get through this. I did time it when you guys were talking. I went through and timed it and then put one on a flash drive for myself, so that I know what areas to hit and how much. 5 seconds, some are 10. And I made it through less than 5 minutes. So I practiced that while you guys were.
Just let me say this to you, Alpha, if you can hear it. When you're doing it, the presentation, what you're doing is absolutely perfect. Okay.
It is. Know that. It is.
Know that. You know how I kind of tick sometimes. And then I print it out so that I had in my hand the pages where I might have needed notes from or whatever. I printed out the notes.
Just
while
keep
you
it
were-
simple. You got it, girl.
Yeah,
You know
just
that.
simple and to the point, and then I want to do the 5 minutes really fast, and then open it up for Q&A if anybody has any questions, and go back to certain slides they might want to have.
Well, don't blow them away too much now.
I'm not, because the more we show, the more like, can we get that? Can we get that?
Yeah, yeah.
Only got so much to deal with here, but so anyway, I think the other element is bringing Alice Jones Smith onto the conversation because she's the enrichment coordinator.
Okay, maybe
and
I should
Carol-
reach out to her so we
yeah,
can
and I
have
think
her
those
next
conversations
Tuesday.
should happen between the three of you.
Yes.
Okay.
Where is
Okay.
she?
Getting ready to go to that meeting, I guess.
Okay. All right. I'll reach out to her between now and then and see if she can join us next week.
So then are we talking about next week, same time?
Yeah.
Because
That works for me.
it may differ for me.
Mm.
And that's the thing. I'll look and see what I can do to work around that to make that happen. What are we talking about? 1:30? Are we talking about 2:00? 1:00? 2:00?
The earlier in the day, the better for me because I'm 1
Oh,
hour ahead of you. So
yes. Well, then that's good because that's what I thought. That's why I was asking that question because I can be more available earlier.
oh, me too.
Not 8 a.m. or 7 a.m., but
Just give us the time and then link, and then you have the link.
okay.
Are you saying, Alpha, that if we tell you when Marilyn and I can meet up, we can use the link for the pop-up research station, just
Yes.
let you know ahead of time? Is that
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah. That
hearing?
way, yes, because this is a case study and we want to record the conversations of developing this project.
All
Okay.
right, good.
Sounds good.
Well,
Sounds
I'll reach out to you, Marilyn, during the week.
yes. And we'll come up with the time.
All
And
right,
that
my
worked
dear.
perfectly. All
Okay.
right. Well, thank you all
Thank
so much
you.
and for being patient with me in and out.
Me
But
too,
And
girl.
I'll see you tonight, Marilyn.
you should, yes.
Okay, great. All right.
And thanks so much, Carol.
All right.